In this tutorial, I will be going over how to import media, rename files, and how to move them around, and lastly, how to manipulate audio in a variety of ways. Let's get started on importing media. There are two simple ways to import media files. The first way is to bring your mouse over to this bottom corner left-hand box and to double-click on it. Make sure your mouse is not on top of any files, and it needs to be in a space with no other buttons or imports. The second way to do this is to control-click again and making sure your mouse is in that little bottom box in the left-hand area with no other files or functions. A gray menu will pop up, and you will then select the import function, and it will allow you to choose from the files on your computer which specific ones you would like to import. Now that we have our files imported, which you can see over here, we can rename them and move them around to make things simpler and to get started in our editing process. The first thing to do is to make sure you know which clip is which before you start renaming in order to decrease confusion. So go back to the little box in this corner and double-click any of the files, whichever one you choose. Right above the box that you're in, you will see the file you just clicked being displayed. This allows you to see what the content is. Once you know what that file is and you're sure that you would like to rename it and use it in your video, to rename it, you click on the file you just previewed one more time and select it. The original file name will have a white background and be highlighted in blue to show you that it can now be edited. At this point, you then erase what's in there and type whatever name you wish. Once you have it named, you can start dragging files into your actual video timeline, which is in the right-hand bottom corner, directly next to the box that we were just working in. Video or visual files will appear a transparent blue color, and then you can drop it anywhere you like. If you have a bunch of clips together and wish to add something in the middle or the beginning, one way to move them is to click and drag each individual clip until you have the designated amount of space for your new clip. If you move a clip that is too large for the space you created for it, then it will delete part of the other clips that it overlaps with. So be careful about that. The easiest way to move multiple clips at once is to click in an area in the corner where no other files are and drag this box that appears over all of the files that you wish to move. This selects all of the videos and audio that you wish to move, as you can see from how they are all now this white-gray color. Now you can just click anywhere on the selected files and drag them where you want. If you would like a larger projection of your editing screen, which is right here, then the little box that is provided, you can press the accent button on your computer's keyboard, which is the button that is right next to the number row of keys. So typically, at least on the MacBook Pro, it is in the top left-hand corner to the left of the number 1 key and right above the tab key. After you press that button, you can see that your editing screen is enlarged, making it much simpler to zoom in and out and to move things around as you can see more of what you're doing. Going back to the regular screen, this little lock button over here disables you from manipulating anything in that specific row. which is helpful when you want to add something without affecting that row. Okay, going back to these freshly imported files, I have decided that I want to separate the audio from the video. There are two ways that I can do this. The first way is to drag the file into the actual video space that you're creating in. You will then select the individual clip and then Control-click on it again. On the gray menu that pops up, scroll down and select the Unlink option. Now the audio and the video are separated, and you can move each file individually or delete as you wish without affecting the other file. The second way to do this, which is the easiest and quickest way, is to double-click the designated file in the bottom left box to make it appear above over here. There's two little buttons. The one on the left here is for the video, and the one next to it on the right is for audio. You can click and drag whichever file you wish to your creative space without having to move both of them. This method of importing files into the main video is especially helpful when making a trailer or another project of that sort that will later require different audio from the original file. I realize that this is a lot, and Adobe Premiere Pro can seem intimidating to most. It was definitely intimidating for me because, as you can see, there are almost an infinite amount of functions and buttons and ways about doing things that differs a lot from the basic iMovie, which used to be my favorite. However, I promise that if you take the time and the effort, or put a little effort into learning just the basic functions of Adobe Premiere Pro, you will soon learn that it is not as scary as it seems, and that you can easily create projects on this just as you would on iMovie. You might even find that the various functions that are different from iMovie or other beginner video editing applications are actually better, and that they can allow you to do a lot more. To each his own. However, I do think it is important to at least give Adobe Premiere Pro a chance.